Atlus is a big deal. Every time they're releasing a game, everyone knows about it. Most known for their Shin Megami Tensei series, they've also published games like Demon's Souls, and are publishing SNK's King of Fighters 13 to the US. But when someone told me that they were going to release a puzzle platformer, I actually didn't believe them at first. But sure enough they did, and it has been the talk of the town, so to speak. So let's dive right into Atlus's latest release, Catherine. First thing you'll notice right away is the anime look of Catherine, and I think it looks fantastic. The art style suits the game very well, from the terrifying and depressing nightmare modes to the laid-back atmosphere of the bar. Everything is detailed very well, with characters obviously unique to themselves. And while you won't be exactly traveling the world, the places you do visit have a very realistic look to them. The cutscenes themselves are fantastic to watch, and all play an important role in developing the story of the game. And being so pleasing to the eye, it really makes you just sit back and watch, and really pay attention to what's going on, and it brings you deeper into the game. The story of Catherine puts players in the role of Vincent, a man who's begun to have extreme nightmares after meeting a woman named Catherine at a bar he frequents. You follow Vincent through both awake and nightmare scenarios, where during the day Vincent is at the bar, where you must manage the relationships with Vincent's friends and deal with the love triangle he's developed. Both love interests have the name Catherine, the blonde spelled with a C, and his longtime girlfriend spelled with a K. You're free to receive and answer texts from these two as well, while also getting to know patrons of the bar. Important to the story are points within the game where you must make decisions that will affect the development of Vincent's character and the route the story takes. That ranges from simply changing how you reply to a text message, or how you respond to certain questions asked of Vincent during the course of the game. And there's more to this than just right or wrong answers. It's actually an interesting in-depth morality system that's used that can completely change how Vincent reacts throughout the game to unexpected situations. And with multiple endings, by the end of the game you'll wonder just what could have changed had you done things a little differently. As you talk with others in the game, you'll notice that Catherine has a very strong voice cast, with voice actors like Troy Baker, who did Snow in Final Fantasy XIII, and Liam O'Brien, just to name a couple. But on top of the voice cast being good, the script itself and the acting are both great, which leads to a very interesting story, with lines being delivered full of emotion and seems very fitting for the situations that they happen in. But as you play the game, aside from the daytime areas, you also have to deal with nighttime stages, where in these stages, Vincent's speed is directly related to how intoxicated he was at the bar in the daytime. As Vincent falls asleep, he enters a nightmare, where he must scale towers of blocks that are crumbling below him. Not just to keep from falling, but to avoid anything that may be trying to prevent his escape. The controls here are extremely simple. You use the D-pad or left joystick to move Vincent as he climbs the vertical tower. Holding X will grab a block and you can pull it back or push it forward accordingly. The key to the game is making yourself steps to progress as quick as possible, but it's nowhere near as simple as it sounds. A key component to the gameplay are edges, which will allow blocks to be suspended anywhere as long as one of its edges are touching the edge of another, to the point that gravity can simply be ignored. But don't purposely ignore it, or you might find yourself unable to find a correct path. The difficulty of these stages are extreme, with tons of different strategies being introduced to you by others as you progress. But just because you know these doesn't mean they'll apply to every situation, and quick thinking is required to stay alive. This game will frustrate you, and to be frank, it's gonna kick your ass. There's many challenges for you on the way. Killers chasing you, sheep getting in your way, platforms falling out from under you, but one big part of the frustration are traps. As you climb, you'll find new blocks such as spike blocks, ice blocks, spring blocks, and bomb blocks. Each one has a specific danger, as spikes can kill you on the spot, ice can send you careening over the edge, spring blocks can shoot you straight into other hazards, and bomb blocks, well, those are self-explanatory. But as you do manage to progress through the nightmare, you'll meet other people in the form of sheep, because in the nightmare world, everyone is a sheep. For some reason. Talking to these people can have changes on the game. They can offer strategies, sell you one-use items to help you progress through the puzzles, and who knows, you might recognize some of them. You just gotta look for those clues. But there are a few other things to do in the game aside from just talking to people at the bar and running through nightmare stages. You can mess with the jukebox in the bar, which features songs from a few different Atlas titles, or you can play the Rapunzel game, which is basically just a daytime version of the nightmare modes you play as Vincent. Also, you can get Vincent completely plastered. Every drink you finish, you'll be given a bit of trivia about the drink you finished, be it cocktail, whiskey, sake, or just beer. However, there are a couple more modes other than the main Golden Theater, which is essentially the story mode. There's Babble Mode, which you must earn gold awards in the story levels in order to unlock Babble Mode levels. There's 4 levels, and each time the blocks adjust to a brand new configuration, so you can't just look up a solution for them. And these levels are easily the hardest the game has to offer. There's also a 2-player mode, but it's couch only and not online. You can also do couch co-op through Babble Mode, which could make it easier or harder, I really can't tell you. But lastly, I want to talk about the music. The music varies a bit. While there's music made exclusively for the game, quite a bit you'll find classical pieces thrown in, most of the time during the nightmare stages. And that might sound a little weird, but those classical pieces are nice and calming when you're getting frustrated. And along with the assorted pop rock and jazz mixed in, that strangely don't seem to get old, I think it honestly contributed to me staying calm enough to complete the game on some of the harder puzzles. Catherine's gameplay itself is simplistic, but it's the solutions that you have to figure out that are the hardest part of the game. The story is really good and really in-depth, to the point that if I tell you too much, I might spoil the whole thing for you, and I don't want to do that. Just know, this game will kick your ass. It is very hard. But it's at no fault of the controls, and that good difficulty with no fault of the controls is really hard to come by. So, I have to give this game an 8 out of 10. And I can honestly say that after beating this game, it's seriously the most satisfying game I have ever played. If you like puzzle games, then this is right up your alley and I highly suggest it. If you're not into puzzle games, well, this might not be for you. But if you pick it up anyways, just know, you're gonna have to use your brain.